certainly you're always going to have that talent that you want to collaborate with because their ideas are great. And you want to take those great ideas and weave them into your broader vision to achieve the best possible outcome. You have some talent that really wants to have that input, but just doesn't get it. And or just doesn't have enough to make a positive difference. So you just have to balance that and nurture the ones that are really great and give them the latitude to contribute and collaborate. And also nurture those who don't have that skill, because it's a skill. In some cases you're born with it, in some cases you develop it. But you know, that talent that's young and hungry and wants to have a lot of input, you have to manage that, nurture that, and help them understand, you know, why their particular ideas might not be the best idea right now. You know, you never criticize an idea, you criticize the timing of an idea. So nobody takes it personally, but it's a balance. You know, I think one of the things that's hurting WWE, I think, in terms of its potential to continue to grow the audience, is it's pretty much of a cookie cutter formula. And it starts at the top. Vince McMahon has a very, very specific way that he sees things. And he's not real open. Now, he can be. You can convince him, but you got to work your ass off to do it. And you got to fight, and you got to dig. And it's possible, but it's hard. I think in today's environment, I would, if I was back in that spot, I would be looking for those people who I believed saw the bigger picture and collaborate as much as I can and nurture those who are on their way to getting to that point.
Well, when you obviously, I mean, you shocked the world and you shocked the industry when you came back into the fold, you know, as a performer with WWE, you know, where you have a situation I think the world never saw coming of two rival, you know, people that legitimately probably hated each other at a certain degree in those times, to be eventually end up working for the company. I mean, was that something that you ever saw ever happening?
No.
Happening?
No, I remember when Kevin Nash called me in 2002. He called me. He said, "Hey, I'm not supposed to know this, and I'm certainly not supposed to tell you this, but don't be surprised if you get a call from Vince McMahon." I'm like, "No, that's not going to happen." But cool, thanks, Kevin. And sure enough, 2 days later, you know, Vince called me. And it took me about a minute and a half or 2 minutes in my mind to go, this will be cool. Because I didn't hate Vince. You know, that's another narrative thing, you know. And, of course, I perpetuated it by some of the things I couldn't said. But I had no personal feeling about Vince one way or the other. As a competitor, he was number one. I was a distant number two. I wanted to close that gap, and I got aggressive about doing that. And wrestling, you know, just the industry being what the industry is, I had to do it in kind of an over-the-top fashion. I was loud and aggressive about it. But it wasn't because I disliked Vince. I didn't know Vince. I didn't have any idea what he was like, whether I'd like him or dislike him. So once that was all over and WCW was now a part of WWE, there was no animosity. And when Vince called me, it was like, damn, this will be fun. Do this.
So like when you, I mean, obviously, as I said, bouncing from, you know, WCW as the guy, and then working for TNA, and then working for Impact, and then slowly, in a sense, number one, obviously now, you know, the emergence of AEW, and you've been over there per se, number one, to do some guest spots. What do you feel between all the companies and all your years of experience just in wrestling and just in the business? What do you feel the takeaway, the differences between all the companies that you've been a part of?
Vision. You know, Vince McMahon had a vision early on. When Vince McMahon decided to take wrestling out of the smoke-filled arenas and the little studios and, you know, increase the production values and bring in the celebrities and WrestleMania and being more of a mainstream, entertainment property. That was vision that nobody else had at that point. Or if they had it, they didn't have the balls to pursue it. Vince did. And to this day, I mean, WWE is a $4.5 or $5 billion publicly held company with a global footprint. That's a result of vision. TNA didn't have a vision. TNA just wanted to be in the wrestling business. It was a vanity project, is what it really was.
Okay.
Truth be known, that's what it was. And I feel like AEW is in some respects, not in all respects, but in some respects, a vanity project. And I don't see the vision, you know. And look, they're doing really well in many respects. Live attendance for, you know, they have 4 or 5 big shows a year. They do well with those. Congratulations. That's not an easy thing to achieve. Much respect. But the television product is flat.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not growing. It's flat. It's not compelling. They have a certain audience. They have that indie dirt sheet internet wrestling audience. They dominate that dirt sheet internet wrestling audience. But I'm not seeing anything to suggest to me that they have a vision or plan to expand beyond that. And it's reflective in the ratings.
See, this is the thing. Like when people, I mean, many people have tried to criticize you and say, you know, and not just you, but other people who have been in the game for a long time, and you'll get the dirt sheets, or you get the, you know, the marks that, you know, will say that, you know, you're out of touch, or this is not the way things are done, or, you know, or you don't know what thing you're talking about because you're responsible for, like, you know, bombing a company and making it, you know, go under. But what I believe in the sense, number one, is that, you know, when I listen to you and I listen to the feedback that you give, I truly believe that it is in a way where it's not coming from a place of hate. It's coming from a place of experience, because you've had the highs and you've had the lows, and you know exactly, per se, you know, the mistakes, because obviously as you say, we can't go back. You know, we can't go back and change the past, but you can, you know, limit the mistakes. And as I said, when people really have to take a look of what you have done, not only, as I said, for the business, but just for entertainment as a whole, because in reality, I mean, they can say what they want. This is my opinion, and I believe it's a lot of people's opinion too, as well, that, you know, when you used to pitch those promos of, like, if there wasn't, you know, there wouldn't be a Mr. McMahon if there wasn't, you know,